Hi, Max.
Hi
Thanks,
there.
hi, thanks for agreeing to talk to us about Manchester Jewish Museum's redevelopment and the sustainability work that you've been doing. Firstly, could you tell me a bit about yourself and a bit about the museum and the redevelopment?
Yeah, sure. My name's Max Dunbar. I'm Chief Exec of Manchester Jewish Museum. I've been at the museum for over 10 years now. And over the last 10 years, we've been working on a major development project. So we've been looking at how we can transform the museum, creating new spaces, extending the museum, which has always been housed in a former synagogue. It's a grade 2-star listed historic synagogue site. And over the past 10 years, we've been looking at how we can grow our spaces to enable us to house and display more of our collection and to do more activities for a broad range of different audiences and local communities.
Fantastic, thank you. And I know this redevelopment's been sort of long in the planning, and the museum's received some fantastic feedback from the public since you opened in early July this year. So it's been a process, like you said, of restoration and expansion. So I'm keen to hear about what impact that's had on your energy consumption, considering you've got bigger in size.
Sure. So we've doubled in size, but despite doubling in size, our sort of overall energy use and our sort of carbon impact has actually reduced by 20%. And it was, this was a real sort of a key factor behind a major factor behind the project. How do we create a new museum building that's environmentally sustainable and fit for purpose for future generations? So we had a fantastic design team, fantastic engineer team. We worked with BuroHappold to really sort of think about how we restore, refurbish our synagogue, build a new extension, but at the same time make sure our carbon footprint was reduced. So we had many workshops. We looked at the space, the building itself, the site itself is a very tight space, so we had to be really creative in how we go about coming up with those solutions, particularly working on a listed building where there are so many sort of restrictions in place. But they achieved it, and I think they were really sort of drawn by the architecture of the synagogue and had to think around the architecture. And for example, they came up with a system whereby they created it was a double floor slab underneath the modern extension, which now sort of heats and naturally ventilates the whole building. So it draws in air, and they use the old sun burners in the synagogue, and they now naturally ventilate the synagogue. So it was a combination of sort of new technology, but also using those historical features that now have produced this incredibly energy efficient museum.
Absolutely fantastic. And how nice that you've got new technologies mixed with using some of the sort of traditional methods. Well, really fantastic.
And it hasn't affected the integrity of the architecture, and you still come into the synagogue and you're wowed by sort of the interior, the design, the decorative schemes. But I think it's fascinating behind the scenes. It's really, we have these high-tech systems that are ensuring we sort of are hitting those carbon footprint targets and helping Manchester achieve its sort of net zero goals.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And also, looking after the collections as well for the long term. It's just what you want, isn't it? And are there other aspects of the work that you're doing at the museum that are linked to environmental sustainability?
Yeah, so we are a new museum. We're a new Jewish museum, and we thought a new Jewish museum has to have a cafe. You have to have a cafe in most museums, but for a Jewish museum, it's essential. So we had many debates about our cafe and our menu, and we reopened as a vegetarian cafe, as a vegetarian kosher style cafe, again thinking about environmental sustainability, and now our menu is very much sort of driven by that, being I think we're probably Manchester's only vegetarian kosher style cafe going. So again, it's played a really sort of important role in our thinking, not just in terms of the spaces, but what we do, how we behave. We're currently working on a new environmental action plan, so thinking about our suppliers, thinking about sort of the materials we use in the cafe, in our education workshops. So it really has sort of impacted not just what we've created, but how we now sort of work in this new museum.
Well, that's fantastic. So you've got this sort of new action plan that you're developing. And so are there other things that you're looking at in particular in terms of, you know, ways to mitigate the museum's impact, or how you can support communities and partners to take action as well?
Yeah, so we are members of MAST, the Manchester Arts Sustainable Team. So we sort of play a role in the wider sort of citywide sector in terms of learning from others, and as well as, you know, supporting others. And, you know, I think as a new build with these systems in place, it's a great opportunity to bring other cultural partners in to show them what can be achieved. So yeah, we feel as though we have this responsibility. You know, we've got this great new building, so it's about sharing what we've learned over the last 10 years with others, and hopefully, you know, that will influence further sort of new buildings and decisions around how buildings are operated.
Well, that's absolutely fantastic. So thanks very much, Max, for agreeing to talk to me today. And yeah, I just can't wait to see what comes next with your action plan.
Oh, thanks so much, Kay. Thank you.